the Clyde Broadcast Podcast, bringing to you inspiring broadcast stories and the latest in broadcast technology.
Another special guest in the chair opposite me is Duke Emmanuel, the head of programs at HitfmCalabar. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much, EDK. It feels so good to be here. I'm doing a podcast.
Yes, you are. As long as are you an avid podcast listener yourself?
Yeah, I listen to a few podcasts, but I've not been on any podcast.
This is your first podcast?
This is my first podcast.
And it's powered by Clyde Broadcast. This is brilliant.
I'm used to broadcasting. This is podcast. It's powered by Clyde.
So, I mean, it's interesting because you've done radio and media generally for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I see how exciting it is. I mean, I follow you on socials. I follow your station as well because I like to check out my neighbors everywhere. and I see the excitement that goes. I just want to know, at what point did you know that this microphone life is for me?
So my story is very funny, and I know that you don't have a lot of time, so
I don't mind. I like stories.
I'll just break it. I studied geography and regional planning, but before then, I wanted to do something related to entertainment because even when I was in school, I used to try to manage artists. So I love music, trying to discover new music and every now and then. So I had this friend I always followed to the radio because when you're pushing artists, you have to use the radio. And based in Calabar, we had just one station at the time. It was state-owned. And then we'll just go, I'll wait for him, ensure that he plays the song of my artist. Yes. And then one certain day, interestingly, this guy doesn't show up for his show. And the producer comes out and says, he says you should stand in for him. And I'm like, really? What do you guys do? How do you guys do? And it's like, he says,
What is set up?
Yeah, but I mean, it was night and it's a state-owned station. So I just got in and interestingly, the GM listened and liked it. And that's how they gave me a show, but it was recorded. So I still had to go to school and get a degree. After that, worked for civil service, and then I found myself on the radio again. And this time around, it was now radio and TV.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, and then it was affecting the other one. One day I show up at work and I receive a series of queries, and then they say you got to pick one. So I decided to pick the radio. So yeah, and I've done this for about 15 years or so.
That's a long time.
Very long time.
And now you lead the whole programs department at one of the most listened to stations in the country. I mean, you guys have such a strong social media presence and a strong presence.
Thank you very much. I mean, coming from you, I really appreciate that. We do our best, but interestingly, and of course, you know how this radio thing works. The programs usually king. So so your portfolio is basically head of programs, but then you find out that you're in charge of news, production.
Yes.
Marketing, everything just it's a lot of work, and it's even more tasking when you have to do your regular shows as well. So every day, broadcasting has grown. It's now every day. So every day, that you have a certain amount of hours that you have to be on the microphone. And sometimes you're doing office work and boom, it's 2:00.
Yes.
Hey, time for entertainment news. You have to get in. And you just find your way around that. As the station, we're big on events.
Yes.
So we do a lot of events. We have at least 5 events spread through the year, major ones. But I try to ensure that all my radio presenters have offshoots of their different shows. So, for example, the guys that are on the morning show would have a community talk thing that they would just meet with the public and find out what's going on. The guys that are on the late mornings will do something around acoustic music and all that. And the guys that are on the pigeon show will do something. So, apart from that, we have like the station shows spread through, and then you have to be in charge of it.
Yes.
More tasking is the Calabar Entertainment Conference that we do every year. We had our 6th edition this year. It's very, very tasking. And then, next year we're going into a full-fledged week, entertainment week. It's 3 days. And you have to do all that with the broadcast and, still be on air. It's crazy, but
So,
we try.
I know all of that is crazy, and I know we're here to talk, seriously about broadcast and podcasts and all that good stuff. But I must ask you this question: what's it like, Duke, finding love in a radio studio?
Oh my goodness! I knew you were going to ask that.
I mean, because you're married to a fellow other presenter. Okay.
Yes. I'm married to my colleague. Yeah. Now, interestingly, the story is funny because people think that we're in the studio presenting and then eyeing ourselves, and then you just wink and be like, "Hey, I love you," and then we'll slide notes and all that. But that's not the story.
That's not the story?
No, that's not the story. Story is, I get a new job at Hit FM, and then chairman calls me up one day and says, these are your OAPs, you're working with this, and then she shows up. I didn't even notice her on the day, for real. We have our regular program meetings and all that. Yeah. And at the time, I'm a regular presenter. I'm not head of programs. Yes. So I have a boss who is there, running things. And we don't really cross paths because I'm on the afternoon show and she's on the morning show. So when she's done, she's out and then I come. We don't even meet ourselves. Yes. So fast forward to 2019, there's a campaign trail, right? And then we both get to find ourselves working on a project. And then we start talking to each other. Like, you have pride. It's like, no, you have pride. And, it now shows that we've been actually looking at ourselves and admiring ourselves, on the job. And a few years later, in fact, 1 year later, we get married, and that's basically it. So it's not like we're working, presenting, requesting for love songs.
Sure, you weren't playing some songs in mind and you were thinking of her?
After marriage, yes, we have our songs now, but we've been married for 3 years. I have a beautiful daughter and radio baby.
Is she gonna do radio? Perhaps she's gonna be.
I'm not going to ask her to do anything around.
Why?
Anything she wants to do. I mean, if she decides if she wants. I don't know anybody in my family that did radio. My dad, granddad, no one. So you can decide to do anything.
Are you loving fatherhood right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think life's in different stages, and the stages are funny. How you just go from a single guy, and then you get into the stage of dating properly. Yes. Yeah, I tell people that dating is different from dating for marriage. And getting married is different from being single in a serious relationship. Then having a child is different from everything. So it's like different stages, and you just enjoy the moment and live it.
I love that. And I know that initially the sleep it's crazy when you can't really get any of that when the baby's here.
No sleep.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better, but it's it gets to different stages. So there's this particular experience that I'd like to share. Very funny. So I have this friend who he doesn't take anything that's processed. So he loves local gin. So one day he comes back from work. He's in the military, and he's like, I brought something for you from Bielsa. You need to take this. Very, very important. And then he gives me the. It's local James podcast, so I can say kai kai.
Yes, kai kai. Of course. Go ahead.
So he gives me kai kai, and it's in a bottle like this, right? So it's like a regular bottle of water, and it looks like water. So I get back home and I'm stressed. I'm trying to sleep in my room. Wifey says, "No, you guys, no. Come to our room." So I go to their room, and then I'm trying to sleep, and I keep the bottle beside me.
Oh dear.
She gets up, gets out of her bed, talking about my baby now, grabs the bottle, opens it, drinks it, and everyone's sleeping. And what I know is that I wake up to you've killed her. I'm like, what is going on? So I grab the bottle. And I sniffed. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Hospital straight.
Yeah, because that's why they have that little fine print. Keep out of the reach of children.
2 a.m. We'll find ourselves at the hospital.
But she was okay in the end.
Yeah, doctor was funny. My friend. Yeah. We'll be rushing emergency and all. Of course, I've called the whole world on my way there. And then he looks at the bottle. Mm-hmm. She took just a little, right? But because it was, babies can't even drink. Drink much. But because it was that hot and her mom perceived it and she was just panicking. So the guy just says, "Let me see the bottle." So he grabs the bottle, looks at it. It's almost full. And he's like, he opens it.
This doctor.
Puts it in his mouth and is like, this is some real shit.
Oh
This is
my
after
goodness.
accessing the baby.
Yeah,
Of course, baby was fine. Nothing happened. We went home and she was just okay. But I mean, my heart left my body at that time.
I can only imagine.
I was like, oh my goodness.
And of course, as you go on with it, you get more comfortable with parenting. And I suppose the same can be said for broadcasting, because you've done this for 15 years. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes with the tech, man. What's excited you the most?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I walked into the Hit FM studio before we went on air. This is 2015, and we're doing test broadcast at the time, and then we have Clyde in front of us.
Yes, you use Clyde there.
Yes, we use Clyde, and I mean, from a more analog background to what the Clyde console could do.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I picked the call and I recorded it. I was like, wow! So this is what these Oyibo people have been doing. I'll be listening to them. I'll be saying, "Hey, these guys are so apt."
Yeah, doing magic.
Industry tricks. I'm putting it out there now. So you guys know that EDK sometimes.
Yo, listen, bro. Listen, my boss is here. Don't let him know that he's probably watching.
What's going on? So I mean, it's the interface, the user interface, beautiful. The technology, I mean, it's amazing. You know, from the days that you would have to go to the studio with a pack of CDs, you have to hold your CD bag.
Yeah.
To the days when you have to go with your laptop and connect your laptop.
Yeah.
So now that you don't even need any of that, just walk in. You know, music is sent through different channels and it's programmed. You know, technology is such. It's all there. I mean, you have all the effect. You don't have to stress. It's now how creative can you be?
Yes, and also I just wanted to touch on, you know, the future of where this is going, because we're at Africa's 2023. I've seen you. I don't need to ask. I've seen you around the floor. I've seen you just standing just like, this can do this. This can do that. What excites you about the future of broadcasting?
There's the excitement and there's the fear. So you see this thing they call AI?
Yes.
Someone present like EDK?
Yes.
With your voice and everything.
Yes.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
We're getting there.
It's scary. I'm going to try something. I'm probably just, I'm giving you a game as well. You can try it at your station. The new iPhone update for accessibility purposes lets you record certain commands onto your iPhone, and then your iPhone plays it out. It's not like a Siri voice. It's almost like your voice. It's so close. So, my plan one day is to just, email that to the station and not show up to work for a couple of weeks on holiday. See how that works out.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, But then we see a lot of accessibility. I mean, you see a lot of upgrades, even with the Clyde. I mean, when we started, we had Synergy. Now I see Integra.
Yes, Integra.
The APC. We had issues with power surge and outages, and now this APC that's surge protecting and all that. So there's a lot, and I think just as you mentioned the iPhone, as upgrades come, Clyde upgrades as well, and it's beautiful to see that and how that works. I mean, I'm just open-minded. In this industry, you just have to be open-minded and keep learning. The day you stop learning is the day you die.
On that note, Duke Emmanuel, thank you so much for coming to the Africa's 2023 podcast.
Thank you so much, EDK. My first podcast, by the way.
I think you should start one. I think everybody should have a podcast.
Yes, you're right.
If you want to set up, you know who to call.
I've been planning this for a long time, but
talk to me. I'll consult. I'm not
it's like the audio idon.
I'm your guy. Thanks for coming to the pod.
Thank you so much, EDK.